We are starting on systems of linear equations and graphing. So again, we're going back to what we did the last two sections, and that's really focusing on graphing lines, points, using slope and intercept. But what we're going to do now, the majority of this unit is actually set up for graphing with a calculator, but we don't have enough of those to go around. So we're going to graph as much as we can on paper, and then we're going to learn how to do this by solving these equations using using algebra. So first things first, I'm going to go through. There were three ways in which I showed you how to graph. Okay, the first way to graph would be to use your point, your y-intercept, and your slope. Okay. So the y-intercept of this one is 4. And where do I go from 4? 0 and 4. Where's my slope tell me to go? Up 2 and right 1. Okay? So there you have a line. So the thing that you do need most is you do need to have at least 2 coordinates. How you get those coordinates is completely up to you. That's the 3 different ways in which we can do it. So I'm going to show you one way using an equation. I'll show you one way with the intercepts, which we've done, and one way with the table of values. And all 3 of those are used to just get you 2 coordinates so that you can draw a line between them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this line and we're going to find out where it intersects with another line that is given to you. All right, so the second method, so there's method number 1 of graphing, is using your y-intercept and then your slope. Your second method is to find both intercepts. So put 0 in for x and solve for y. So 0 times 2 is what? 0. 0 add 4 is 4. All right? Then I put 0 in for y here. Okay? I need to solve for x. Move this over to here. Like that. Divide by 2. So there would be 2 coordinates, one right here and one right there. So that's the second way in which you can do it. This way is great. I like this way as long as there isn't fractions involved. Okay, so this is a good way to do it if all of these are kind of numbers that will go into each other. All right, so there's nothing wrong with that. And the final way is just to pick any 2 values of x that you want to solve for y. So let's do 1 and 2. So put 1 in for x. 2 times 1 is, add 4 is 6. There's that coordinate right there. 1 and 6. Put 2 in for x. 2 times 2 is, add 4 is 8. So that coordinate would be right here. And again, I draw my line. So there's the 3 ways in which you're going to be using. And whichever one you like best is the way you're going to graph the lines that are given to you, the equations. And then the next thing that we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to look at finding where 2 graphs intersect. So that's the next step in the process. So let's do that right now. Okay, so the first equation given to you, it says, consider the system of linear equations. Y equals 3x plus 2. And 2x minus y equals negative 4. All right, so let's use 2 methods in which we can graph these 2. Okay, so starting with this one, we'll do the slope and intercept because it's already in that form for us. So what's my starting coordinate then? Pardon me? 0 and positive 2. That's my starting coordinate. Where does my slope tell me to go? Up 3, right 1. Right there. And as soon as I have 2, okay, I draw my line through it. Notice the arrowheads on the ends of lines. Anytime you draw a graph that goes on forever, you must have arrowheads on it. Okay, so there's graph number 1. Here's graph number 2. Okay, so we're going to use a second method. Now you can put this into y equals and use the same method. If that's all you want to do, that's what I would do. Okay, but I'm just showing you alternatives. So I'm going to do this method now. 0 in for x, solve for y. 2 times 0 is 0. So that leaves me with minus y is equal to negative 4. I'm going to divide by negative 1. Y would be equal to 4. Okay, so let's just show that. That's all 0 already, so I put that out here. I divide by negative 1. Y is equal to 4. Now let's put 0 in for y. So 2x minus 0 equals negative 4. 2x is equal to negative 4. How do I solve for x? Divide by 2. X equals minus 2. So I have that. Okay? So I'm going to go to 0 and 2, which I think is right here. Negative 2 and 0, which is right there. That's this point. And then I'm going to go to 0 and 4. Right here. And then draw my line. Very crooked line. Pretend that's straight for me. And then I would have to find out what this is. So it's going to be imperative that we use graph paper for this. For that very reason right there. Because you are going to look at this spot right here where that coordinate, what that coordinate is, where those two lines meet. Okay? The first method to do it is to graph it. Alright, so you graph both lines on graph paper and find out what that coordinate is. I can't really see that coordinate because I drew a lousy line. So I'm going to try a different method, and that's going to be using algebra. So this is going to be the one that you're going to like the least, but we don't have much say in the matter. It's going to have to be done one way or the other. So here's what I have. I have y equals 3x plus 2. 2x minus y is equal to negative 4. All right, get your pencils out and get ready to write this, because this is what you're going to struggle with, but at the same time. Okay, so now what I want you to think about, what am I asking you to do here? I'm asking you to find the coordinate that is in here as well as in here. I'm asking you to find out where this line crosses that line. All right? So, I don't need to do this, but I'm going to do it just because I'm going to arrange this guy into y equals form as well. So I'm going to subtract 2x, so that gives me minus y equals minus 2x subtract 4. All right? And then I'm going to divide by negative 1, so I get y equals 2x add 4. Okay? So what I've done is change it into slope-intercept form. But I've done this for this very reason. I am looking for a coordinate of x and y where they're going to satisfy both equations, where they're going to cross at. Both of those lines will cross this point. Which means that if y is equal to this in this equation, and y is equal to that in that equation, this y and this y are actually equal to each other. And then the x's will have to also be equal to each other because it's the same coordinate. There's only one coordinate to find. There's only one place that a line can cross another line, unless they're the exact same line or they're parallel in which they would never touch. Right? You'd have no solution. So to do this, I'm going to let this guy equal this guy because the y's are equal to each other. So I've got 3x add 2 equals 2x add 4. Okay? So what is my goal here? My goal is to solve for x, which means I have to have the x on one side of the equation by itself. So to do that, I'm going to start by moving this x over to the other side. So how do I move 2x over to the other side? I'm going to subtract it. Okay, so I'll just write out my steps right here. I'm going to subtract 2x. That's going to give me 1x, add 2 equals 4. Now how do I get x by itself? Subtract 2. X is equal to 2. Okay, so I know the x value where these guys are going to cross at. That x value right there I know is 2. So now I need to find out what the y value is at that. So I'm going to pick one of these two equations, it doesn't matter which one, and I'm going to substitute in the x value to solve for y. So let's use the first equation. Y is equal to 3 times 2, add 2. What is 3 times 2? 6 plus 2? Y is 8. What did I find? I found the coordinate where those two lines meet, 2 and 8. Here's the beauty of this. I'm going to make sure I got this right. I'm going to substitute both those coordinates into that equation, and it should equal on both sides. So 2 times my x value was 2, subtract 8, and that should equal -4. What's 2 times 2? 4. 4 subtract 8? -4 equals -4. I know I got it right. What's the coordinate that they intersect at? 2 and 8. Good. All right. There's the two methods in which you can solve to find out where two lines intersect at. And that's all that lesson 1 is about. Okay? You're going to need to do it on graph paper. Can't do it on any other paper but that. Okay? Just because your squares have to match up so we can see where it goes through. How many of you in here still don't know how to graph a line? One way or the other. Okay? Everybody's okay with that? That's hugely important. You must be able to use one method to graph a line. And it doesn't matter which one it is. You can use any of them. You have 3 methods to do it, but you need to be able to do it. All right?